cool, so proud. It's amazing.
So when it comes to what's happening next, I want to go into talk about your products in a moment, but before that, you're a positive guy, and your job very much is about making people feel good first thing in the morning. First of all, to get the kids happy, then the parents get happy, and then their day is happy. That works really well from a radio point of view. But we've got a very different world right now, and the fact that there are lots of people who are emotionally scarred and anxious and depressed and might not even know it. Financially, there's challenges that people see. There's a lot of people who need help, and they need to feel better, and they need to feel more up than they've ever felt before. Now, radio shows are important because they give you that level of normalcy, but do you find that when you're talking to people that there's more, maybe even sadness in people than they've seen for a long time?
Man, I see the opposite right now. I actually see the most positive that we've ever been. I think we've been in the last 2 years with COVID. It's just been, I think we're appreciating a lot more of what we have. So we've never been as busy as we have on the radio, interesting enough. From 6 a.m. in the morning, we have 24 phone lines. They are all ringing. And it's literally people just giving us love, but also giving their life love. We did a topic this morning about what would you, 10 years ago, in the last 10 years of your life, what's one thing that you're proud of? And we did that on air this morning, right? So I just asked that question in the last 10 years, what's one thing that you're proud of? And again, the phones would ring, and we took these amazing calls from people saying, I'm just proud that I'm a father and I'm supplying for my kids and I've got a job and I'm doing what I was told. From another woman calling up saying that she's proud that she beat cancer. She had cancer for 7 years and she beat it. So this positivity that we're hearing on the radio, I always hear, but I feel like I'm hearing it even more right now because people are so, we've realized that it can go like that, man. Like it can literally be taken away from us. And, you know, anxiety and depression, I think, is still on a high. I'm not saying that that's not, but I feel like we are all trying just to find those joys in life, you know, those little bits of, those pockets of happiness. And that's something that I try to do every single morning. You know, between 6 to 10, I do it, and then I do it on my social media. I've got, you know, 500,000 people that follow me on my social media, and I get really, really serious DMs on my Instagram from people telling me that they wanted to take their lives, to people telling me that they're in an abusive relationship. And, you know, I try to do my role where I can try to talk through them, but at the same time, you've got to realize that there's still a lot of positivity coming through, and you've got to try to find that positivity in your life. If you're a negative person and you're thinking negatively, that's what's going to attract. You're going to attract that a lot of the time.
And you're going to notice it because you program your mind to say, I'm negative, show me more examples of it, and your brain does that. So how do you stay positive? Because having done breakfast shows for many years myself, there's nothing worse than those moments where you just go, I don't want to do this. I really would like to sleep in longer.
Yeah, it's, you know, 4:20 in the morning, my alarm goes off every single day. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like that alarm going off, but I'm grateful to be able to do what I can do because, and this is something really small that I do sometimes. I'm driving to work. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. The roads are fairly quiet. And then I see these legends on those laborers bus, and they come by me on the bus, and I look up and I instantly am grateful for what I get to do as a living. And that's something that has resonated with me since 11 years ago when I started doing that morning show. And I think that's what you've got to do. You've got to understand the position that you're in, look at what's around you, look at the positives that are around you, and just get up and do it. And just know that, you know, I know there's a million people that would love to be able to get paid to wake up in the morning and go do a radio show. So I'm very, what's the word? Like I don't take it for granted. I'm really, really appreciative that I've got this position on air every single day. And even doing this sort of stuff, like being able to come here and grab a microphone and talk and seeing some of you guys just hang out here, like it's, you know, I don't take it for granted. I think it's beautiful to be able to do.
No, I completely agree with you. I think one of the things is that we have maybe got a closer relationship with the basics rather than the shiny objects than we ever had before. I mean, I never would have considered that breathing would be a currency. But it is.
So true, yeah.
You know, and it's one thing that we'd always go, oh yeah, that's fine. So it's completely different now. Now, you've got a wonderful marketing relationship with the outside world, not just through your social media, not just through your shows, but also you've got things that you help people to, well, snacks that most of the kids across the UAE are taking to school every day. When you create these products and create these relationships like the Fade Fit stuff, What goes through your mind as you create them? Because I know you're very much into making sure that people do feel better as a result of working with you.
I just think for like my journey in the UAE has been a really interesting one. I came here and started doing the radio show, obviously, but I sunk into full-blown depression and anxiety. I went through a divorce. I wasn't in a happy place. I wasn't feeling great. I talk about this journey a lot. I think it's important to get it out there. I put on about 33 kilos as well. Like I just wasn't happy. I was depressed. I was on pills. I went and saw psychiatrists and psychologists and tried to work out how do I make myself happy. I'd never felt what anxiety was before. I didn't know what it was, but I started feeling it. It wasn't until I realized that it was within the family that I was like, oh, so you guys have this? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, I only felt this for the first time at the age of 30. And so that moment of my life was, even though I hated it, I'm so appreciative that I actually got it because it changed my life forever. And I realized that just looking after myself, health, like just looking after my health, mentally and physically, was so important. And I started going to the gym a lot, and I started eating healthy, and you know, I lost a bunch of weight, and I got really, really fit. I probably got too fit. I became extreme fitness. I was doing the meal plans and all that, but it was what at that time I needed to focus on because it got me thinking differently. I was going through this divorce. I wanted to concentrate on myself and my daughters at that time. And so I focused on that. And then out of that, a lot of people were telling me, how did you get fit? Like, and how did you beat anxiety? Which you never beat anxiety. Anxiety will always be around and it will always be with you, but you just can understand it a lot more and you can understand how to control it. So a lot of people were messaging me that on my social media and on the radio, like, how did you get fit and how did you do this? So it was then that we formed Fate Fit. And what Fate Fit was then was actually a community. We did a beautiful event on the beach. We had 800 people rock up. It was a free event. We had 2,500 people apply. And that event was just literally psychologists, nutritionists, fitness instructors, should I say, motivational speakers. And it was a day of wellness. And people left there in tears because they were seeing other people, from my buddy Sujit, who's paralyzed from the waist down, from the neck down, talk about his fitness journey, how he goes to the gym. Team Angel Wolf, about raising their family and doing what they do. So once you were hearing from other people and other people's stories, you sort of reflect on yourself and you realize, my life ain't that bad. I'm actually not too bad right now. So that's the conception of what Fate Fit really began. And then from there, we had kids snacks come out because I realized when I was going shopping for the kids, I was looking after myself health-wise. I wanted to make sure that my kids were eating healthy. There weren't very many affordable healthy snacks on the market, so I decided to create them. And from that journey, Fate Fit has turned into, you know, a multi-million-dollar company right now, where we're doing snacks for kids, for adults. We have smoothies out, we have vitamins, we have scooters, and there's organic milk that we've just launched recently from France under another brand called Organics by Fate Fit. So we've branched out. We've just sold into Saudi Arabia. 2 days ago, we just went into all Starbucks across Saudi. We're in all Starbucks across the UAE. And we're growing fairly quickly. So I didn't even plan for it to happen. I just went along with it. And the next thing you know, you just that snowball effect. And I'm driven. I want to keep going. I'm a better person busy. I don't know if you guys are like that, but when I have too much free time on my hand, that's when I feel like I think too much. So I like to keep myself busy. I like to keep myself working. I like to be around the kids if I'm not working, but I always want to do stuff. I can't just sit on the couch and I can watch a couple of NBA games and football games and then I'm out. I've got to do something.
I get you. Well, first of all, massive round of applause for the success of Fate Fit. I think that's a really impressive, true UAE story. Now, we have a lot in common that we probably don't know about. For instance, Mihai, your friend who's the fitness guy, I worked with him as well. Clearly not for a year and a half in lockdown, but there as well.
You look great.
Rachel, your hairdresser.
Yes.
Works on my hair.
Oh my gosh, she's the best.
She's the best ever. And Karen and I go back 15 plus years when we used to do rock concerts together. Now, one thing I'll say, and this is just an honest truth, is nobody I meet has got a bad word to say about you. Everyone says you're positive and a lovely guy.
Thank you very much. If you get on Twitter or Reddit, you'll see some negativity there. That's what. No, I'm joking. You know what? I love that. I love that you said that. And I think for me, I want to be the same person that you hear on the radio. I want to be the same person that you and I hang out, or Karen hangs out, or I just want to be that real person. And there's so much, not fakeness, but with social media around right now, I feel like everybody's trying to be someone else. and I meet a lot of quote unquote influencers, and they're all fantastic, right? And I see them on social media, but then I meet them at events, and it's two different people. It's literally two different people. And that I've realized over the years, especially over the last couple of years, that it's like, I keep telling people, don't pretend to be someone else.
Are you going to mention any names now? You're not going to do it, are you?
Nah, man. No. To tell you the truth, I don't even feel like I know them. Like, it's not like I particularly remember them, but it's just sort of like, I remember seeing people at events, and I'll be like, oh, hey, man, how you doing? Yeah, I've seen you come up, and it's a different person. And the biggest advice that I give to people, like my first boss on radio gave me 18 years ago, he said, don't get on the radio to try to become famous, and don't get on the radio trying to be funny. I remember those words vividly, and I took those with me. He said, just be you. Be the same person. Don't change. And I took that journey with me on radio, and I take that journey with me with whatever I do. I want to be that. I just want to be the same person. I don't want to be like, and on Reddit or on Twitter sometimes I will get negativity from, people that will just send messages of just like, can't stand this guy's an absolute b-hole or whatever it is. And I'll always reply, if I feel like replying, with love. I'll go, God bless your family, man. I hope you guys are good. And it's so interesting to see. I had one particularly on Instagram the other day, was just throwing a lot of hate at me, right? We've never met. I don't know if I had done something to him before. I don't think I had. But I went onto his profile. I just want to see the guy.
Yeah.
And he had a beautiful family photo, and I just put on there, what a gorgeous family. God bless you guys. And I meant it. He sent me an inbox. Hey, man, I wasn't trying to show you any hate. I just wanted attention, man. I really love you and love what you do.
That's true.
And that was such an eye-opener for me. I was like, wow, people throw shade sometimes because they want that attention from you.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that as I get older. I think 10 years ago, if I got that, I probably would have replied like, oh yeah, whatever, no. Now it's sort of like, I just embrace it with love. I feel like any negativity that comes towards me, throw love straight back at it, man. When you give love, you get love. When you give negativity, guess what? You will get that negativity come back to you somehow. It works full circle.
No, I truly believe in that. I'm not as benevolent as you. I do go delete and block, but I get what you're saying, and that's a beautiful thing as well. But I would just like to say about the fact that, you've got an incredible personal brand that you've built up, and you've managed to build it so your marketing, your show are all integrated. It means you do walk the walk and the talk, and it all comes together. We're in an age now where, especially with the Great Disruption, people really should be thinking about their personal brand. But they're scared that they're going to make a mess of it, or they're scared that they're going to stick their head up and going to look stupid because people find out who they are. Imposter syndrome, etc. What's your advice to people to get over that imposter syndrome and go out and create that relationship with the outside world?
Man, it's as cliche as it sounds, just do it. Like, just get out there and do it, and don't be shy. Don't be afraid. My daughters are 12 and 10, and one of them the other day had to stand up in front of the school and say something, and the night before she's like, I'm so nervous, Dad. Oh my gosh. I'm like, baby, you ain't gonna, just get up there and do it. There's nothing gonna happen. And that's what I always say to people, take the opportunities. Your contacts are everything. Being at an event like this right now, No Filter DXB, there will be thousands of people that can help you do whatever it is that you want to do. Some of you are designers, some of you are architects, some of you are in PR. Get out there and network. The UAE, this city, this country, it's unbelievable for networking. I don't think there's another country in the world that's like it. Going back to Fade Fit, it would not be the company that it is today if it wasn't in this country. Because you can meet someone, I've met people where I've been at an event, we start talking, we get along, he tells me what he does or she tells me what she does, and I'm like, oh, I've got this. Give me a call on Sunday, let's get it done. By the end of the next week, they're in stores, in 150 stores across the country. It's remarkable for that thing to happen here. People are willing to help you. But if you remain silent, and if you remain in your little shell, guess what? No one's gonna know about you. And the biggest example I give is my co-host and one of my best friends and my sister is Pretty Malik. We do the show every single morning together. She's been doing the show with me for 11 years. And the way that she got her job was, we were working in the radio station. She was in news. She was on a different level. But what she did, she would come down in the hallways and just say hello to me. What up, Kris? Hey, what's your name? I'm Pretty Malik. I do the news upstairs. Nice to meet you, Pretty. That relationship that we built over 3 or 4 months turned into us becoming mates. She'd come into the studio and just hang out with me. And I'd be like, how's the news? Yeah, news is all right. Cool, cool. We formed a relationship, not work related, just a relationship of just people chatting at work. And then the opportunity came up where I needed someone. I needed a female for my show. And they were like, well, let's advertise it. Let's go around the world and find someone. And I was like, nah, we got this girl, Pretty Malik. She's Indian. She's from New York. She's got a great personality. She reads the news. Let's bring her on. They're like, all right, let's bring her in. We trialed her out. She's amazing. 11 years later, she's still on the show with me, and we've done so much together. She got that job because she just spoke to me. And I say that to so many people. And there are still people in my workplace right now, and they just sit at their desk and like that. And I'm always like, I go up to them and go, hey, how you doing? You all right? Nice to meet you. Because people are so like this. We're so like just, we're afraid. Talk to people. Like, talk to people. Why don't we talk to you? Like, why? I don't get it. Because you never know, that one person that you speak to could open up the next door of your life. And that's like the biggest advice that I give to people is like, go and talk. Don't be shy. I was a shy kid. Like I didn't want to talk to anyone. I had a lisp. I used to talk like this to the age of 12. Like that's how I spoke, right? So talking was never the thing that I ever wanted to do. But you just take the opportunities and you run and you do it, you know?
Where do you see your own direction going? The radio station's been a major success for 11 plus years. There's no reason why you can't do another 11. But for you personally, must be stuff driving you. What's on your bucket list that you haven't done yet?
I want to get married because after my divorce, the next thing I want to do was I end up finding Brianna, my fiance. We were supposed to get married 2 years ago, and the pandemic completely brought that to a halt. We had it all planned. There were 600 people at the Ritz-Carlton across the road, and everyone was flying in, and then we had to cancel that. So first thing I want to do is get married again. I want to have another child with Brianna. I've got 2 beautiful girls now, but I would like to have another child. So personally, that's what I would like to be able to do. Inshallah, it happens. I just want to have fun. I want to relax. I was with Trevor Noah 2 weeks ago on stage doing similar to what you and I are doing right now, and he said something that resonated with me a lot, and I spoke to him backstage about it. He says he's re-collaborated his life, and what he means by that is he's doing now what he wants to do, and that's something that I've now started to shift into gear a little bit, doing things that I want to do, not things that I have to do, and that's personal stuff, but also work-related stuff. I love doing my show every morning. I'm going to continue to do that. I will expand the show. We now syndicate across all of Australia on the weekends. So the Kris Show goes across Australia. I want to get more syndication across the world. That's one thing that I want to do. I want to do some more stuff online, socially. I think that's really important to do. And Fate Fit is my baby. Fate Fit is my baby that we're only 2.5, 3 years into this journey. I know where I want to take it. I want it to be a global brand. We sold into South Africa. Distribution starts there in 3 months, which is super cool. We're now in Kuwait, we're in Saudi, we're in the UAE, we're in Oman, possibly in Australia, and we sell in 1 outlet in Los Angeles, just one. That one I love. So there are some big things that I want to plan for this brand, and I want to just enjoy my life. Health is everything. I want everything to be behind health. I want my kids to be healthy, me to be healthy, and whatever comes with it, rolls with it.
Fantastic. Before we finish, we've got a nice audience.